I took it up in front of the gunsmith.
They're in Shawnee.
No, Centerfire has their own gunsmith.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. I took it in him, he said, your firing pin is rotated. But on 22s, it's a flat plate, it's not obviously not a centerfire. So it's supposed to be like this, like this.
Oh.
From shooting it like a gangster instead of like the auto.
It wouldn't have made any difference, it wasn't gonna go bang no matter what I did. So he turned it, and I went out and I put 10 more rounds through it, of which only one went off. And I looked at it, and made it turn 90 degrees again, so I gave it to him. He called me the other day, and he says, your gun's fixed, so I'll pick it up tomorrow when I go down there. I have no idea.
I wish you had a hot day on the range every
No.
Wednesday.
I take my stuff into that gun shop there in Shawnee,
Expensive, only.
right, just off of Long Street, right behind, that fireplace. It's the third.
No, it's not.
Oh.
So much.
No, something brutal. It's right there in Shawnee, it's just before you get the law.
That's what I mean.
I remember that. On 63rd Street?
Yeah.
It's like.
You go past, where the John Deere dealership used to be.
Listen, buddy.
Okay. Yeah.
Just keep going.
Thanks, those, you never know.
Okay, yes, all right, now I know where it is, yeah.
There's a place called Monterey back in there. You got a big sign, so it's good.
Didn't know that. Yeah, since Centerfire's got their own guy, I'll just, I'm there, just give it to him.
Next week.
And he's
We'll be done with it.
done a couple things. He did a trigger job for me on one gun.
My brother Charlie.
And then I had
He's got 2 more rounds.
what I thought was an extractor go.
Well, we finished one
Smith and
last
Wesson
week,
nine.
this is off week, and then next
And
week
he
he
said,
does.
well, I've looked, I can't find an
this
extractor.
last
I said,
one,
well,
hopefully.
you might have to
And
keep
then
done so you can or make a decision.
Radiation,
Doesn't
if
matter.
they're arrested.
Huh?
What kind is it?
Right.
Smith and Wesson SD9, big 9 automatic, semi-automatic. So I gave it to him. He called me up a few days later and said, I fixed it. And I said, well, did you find an extractor? He said, no, I just messed around. I found a spring laying on my bench and I looked the same, so I put it in. He says, and it works perfect. He charged me for a box of ammo. That was it. So,
That was enough.
well, yeah,
No, most I've had to pay down there has been $50.
I think the trigger job on my Glock, I think cost me $40. That was it. So, and like I said, he only charged me for the box of ammo for the one. I don't know what he's charging me for this 22 mag.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's right there. I mean, there, good. So,
You know, 22s have to be kept clean.
yeah. Well, this one I know it was clean. It just, and he showed me because the firing pin is actually a plate. It's supposed to be like this, like this. Showed me when he put it back in position. And I fired a couple rounds. I'm gonna ask him how that happened.
I took one into here last week. It's a Ward's 22 rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on his counter, he looked at that and he says, I don't think I've got a schematic or even know where to find one. He says, I told him what I needed done to it. He says, I'll tell you right now, he says, I will not go into the guts of that because it's complicated to put that together.
Yeah. That kind of put you in a bad spot.
But it didn't, it's just something I just decided to have fixed, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I used to use it down the lake when I was for squirrels.
Yeah, be perfect for that.
I shoot, the BBs, the shells, you know, that got the BBs in it,
Mhm.
22,
Yeah, I've got some of those at home.
just to knock them out of the feeder.
Yeah. Good for chasing them off.
Yeah.
Well, I bought a used one, a used 22 revolver. Back when OMD was still open down there. Just 22 long rifle, pearl type handles. It's a 9-shot, but you have to old Western style. I got to look at it here a couple weeks ago. It's a high standard model 100. The
Really?
first ones they ever made.
So I got a high standard Model B, 22.
Mine's, it's marked as, model 100. And, double action, but sometimes double action doesn't want to cooperate, but still, she's fine. Fun.
But you can't even buy 22 now.
Yeah, I know. Ridiculous.
Is everybody online?
We have, Johnny Schultz, Linda Lane, Ken Fisher are all online. 2 callers.
Mike, I think I'm caller number 1.
Okay, I'll edit that.
I don't know who caller number 2 is, but I'm number 1.
All right.
Well, I'm Roger, but I don't know if I'm 2 or 1 or 6, but I'm on both.
Okay. Great. We got you, Roger.
Thank you.
Loud and clear.
One minute to go.
Perfect. Good thing I didn't start too early. Nothing to do. Do I need to go get Brad?
No,
Okay.
he's right there.
Good.
Well, I was looking at I glanced, looked at the clock, it said 10:06, I got
Oh,
plenty of
no.
time, and then I looked at my computer, I was like, whoa, wait a second.
Wow, the battery must be getting low.
We have Todd online too, so I think we're all here.
We're all here.
Yeah, good mini.
Good evening, I'd like to welcome everyone to the December 15th, 2020 Planning Commission. Roll call.
This conference will now be recorded.
Manson,
President remotely.
Templin,
Remotely.
Lane,
Present remotely.
Fisher,
President remotely.
Schultz,
President remotely.
McPherson,
Present in person.
Garrett.
Present in person.
Everyone's counted for.
Thank you. Item number 3, general business. Through Planning Commission agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Have a motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion approved. Item B, approve the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting held on October the 27th, 2020. Do you have any corrections or to that?
I make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Have a motion?
Second.
A second? All in favor, say aye.
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 Item C, disclosure of conflict of interest. Do you have any conflict of interest regarding the items on the agenda tonight?
Manson, none. Fisher, none. Schultz, none. None.
Okay. Item D, disclosure of outside communications regarding commission business. Do we have anything there?
Manson, none. Fisher, none. Schultz, none. None.
None. Okay, item number 4, calls of public. Members of the public who wish to address the planning commission regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Any presentation is for information purposes only. No action will be taken. There's a 4-minute time limit. Do we have anybody? Okay. Item number 5. A special use permit for pole sign for O'Reilly Auto Parts at 34009 West 91st Street, Terrace. Brad?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Want to run through the staff report. For pole sign, this has actually been in the works for quite some time. The application was submitted in October, however, didn't have time to get the publication completed for the October meeting, and of course, we didn't have a meeting in November, so it's taken a little while to get to this point. However, we have done all the appropriate notifications, sent out letters to property owners nearby.
Speaking to the mic there, Brad, I just want to make sure.
Okay, gotcha. And have not received any comments from the notification requirements that we're required to do with the newspaper, the sign, and the letters. The special use permit, as I said, it was submitted in October, and included in that is a brief narrative of the intended uses, basically just a sentence, the site plan of the location, and of course the items as far as proof of ownership. And one thing that I wanted to note, a couple things actually, is our maximum for the elevation for the pole signs is 60 feet. O'Reilly's is only at 40 feet, so it is below our sign height. I didn't put this in this part, but I'll mention it later, but it does also is less than the size requirement, the maximum size. So they have to kind of scale things back a little bit as far as the height and the size of the sign. You'll also notice on the elevation that Mike has on the screen that there is a marquee sign, a yellow marquee sign that's below bigger O'Reilly Auto Parts sign. That is not part of the SUP. That's actually allowed part of our sign requirements, or it's in part of our administrative approval. So we're really just looking at the pole sign and the larger O'Reilly Auto Parts sign on the top. Just a quick overview of the general zoning requirements in the area. The property is currently zoned C2 business generals. Business general pole signs are allowed in C2 with a special use permit, and a site plan is included in Exhibit C within your application and in your packets. As we know, the C2 district is to provide a zone for commercial uses which are intensive in nature, require a large area of direct access to major streets, commerce drives, and developing major arterial in the area. Recently approved the Burger King, and of course Harvest has been in for several years now, and it also has the McDonald's that's going on. The K10 apartments are being constructed at this time. They will all access and use Commerce Drive for ingress and egress around DeSoto. Going through the review of matters to be the character of the neighborhood. Pole sign location is appropriate for the commercial retail uses within the K10 corridor. That's one thing that's also stipulated in our regulations, that it must be in the K10 corridor. It certainly meets that requirement, so it's found to be compatible with the nearby uses in the area. Compatibility of the uses in the zoning of the nearby properties. There are 4 pole signs nearby. The proposed pole sign would not affect the compatibility with the existing or anticipated uses within adjacent areas. Extent to which there's a need in the community for the proposed zoning / pole sign. I don't know that there's necessarily a need for a pole sign in the community. However, Commerce Drive is a retail corridor. We certainly want to encourage retail growth with the property tax, sales tax, things like that that'll bring. Here the applicant feels like this is an important part of their ability to attract and retain customers. So part of the reason why this has been submitted for approval to the Planning Commission and ultimately City Council. Availability and adequacy of required utilities and services. There are no impacts to services or utilities impact anticipated with the proposed pole sign. Adequacy of ingress and egress. Pole sign will not affect any kind of visual side triangles or anything like that. So we see no impacts to any issues as far as traffic flow, adequacy of parking in the area. The extent of where the proposed use would adversely affect capacity of safety or that portion of the road, as I said, there's no problems with site triangles, and the property can be used appropriately with or without the pole sign in this area. One thing that we do have some issues with potentially is the environmental impacts, not so much in stormwater or anything that air pollution or noise pollution, or anything like that, but it's something that the planning commission has talked about quite a bit, is how much is enough, how many pole signs do we want to allow in this area? Based on our code, the way it's written, we can have a pole sign on every property within that K-10 corridor along Commerce Drive. I don't know if Mike, if you can get to that, I think this might be a good time to show this visualization study that council requested had done several months ago. This was after the Burger King discussion that we had with that pole sign, whether or not, at what point do we feel like there's enough? And we feel like the clutter outweighs the benefit to the local business. So you saw that, Mike. Well, a couple of these videos for commissioners to view.
So, and I don't remember, did we present this at the planning commission? Have you guys seen this at all?
I don't think they have. I know the council meeting,
Yeah,
we did show them.
and I think, Roger, this was kind of spurred on by some of your concerns about trying to find a magic number of pole signs that we should allow. You know, if there were a magic number, we would have specified it and it'd be in the regulations, but we don't have one. So, what this was intended to do was to show visually the area as it's laid out and currently platted. So this includes all those platted lots in the K-10 Commerce Park that have been recently replatted and new streets put in. Assuming every one of those lots has a pole sign at the maximum height, this is what it would look like. So this picture here is you've come off the K-10 westbound off-ramp and you've made that loop around and you're looking east. And this is the intersection of Commerce and Lexington Avenue traffic signal. So you see the existing Phillips sign there, you see the existing McDonald's sign, you see the existing Burger King sign, and I would think that the this O'Reilly sign would be this one here that I've got my cursor on right now. It's kind of almost dead square.
Also, like that harp sign actually was a SUP as well.
Oh, that's it right there?
Barely, right?
Is that it there, Brad? Yeah. Good, so there's the harp sign. So the one we're talking about, this red box here is 60 feet tall, so the one we're talking about would be slightly shorter than that. Another view, this would be on K-10, you're headed eastbound. And so you're looking at Commerce Park off to your left. I think some of these buildings are conceptual, just kind of blocks, just placeholders there. I don't see any existing signs in this. Maybe that's the harp sign. I don't think so. We'll go on to the next one. This is a little more familiar. This is going westbound and you're looking to the right, McDonald's sign, Super 8, Burger King, you know, an adjacent lot there. I think, so this is the Harps building back behind here. And so this might be somewhere close to where this proposed O'Reilly sign is. Again, a view a little further back from that. This you can see, I don't know if anybody recalls, but we had contemplated in our CIP like a highway monument sign out in the high K-10 right of way, so that sits there. That's what that is. A couple of these are videos. I might skip through. I'm going to skip this one. This is on the new stretch of 91st Street going eastbound. Let's skip that one. This one, I have no idea where we're at.
I think we're going. Now I think we're going east on that first.
I think that's going west on 91st.
Yeah, I think you just went past the school.
Yeah.
School should be coming up one way or the other.
I think this is west on 91st. This would be the new stretch of 91st. Intervet Merck is like over here. Okay, also not terribly relevant. Okay, so this is the, headed east down Commerce Drive. I think this is the most relevant one. You see McDonald's you just passed. This would be Pizza Hut, Super 8, Burger King there. Yeah, Jake's Fireworks Building. So this, I think this sign there would be in the area of where the proposed sign is located. I think that's it. We won't. Well, this is coming. So this is the proposed sign here. This view. You're headed westbound on Commerce.
I know we have, some on K10 also, that were videos, as I recall. Maybe not.
Yeah. This is the one I think going. There's a new water tower. So I think we're passing over, going eastbound, that's Sunflower Road, and you just passed over. And then you're coming down the hill. So the Merck campus is on the left. I think you're going more than 70, but maybe not. So here comes the Lexington interchange here. And then you press the top to go over Lexington, the bridge here. I'll pause it. This on the other side of the bridge. So you can see the Super 8, you can see the Burger King sign. I believe the O'Reilly sign would be somewhere in this area here. And I think the next one is headed westbound. Yeah, so you're just by Futamaki, just at the bottom of the hill like Hill Creek, and we're coming back up the hill westbound toward Lexington. I think it'd be this sign here. Somewhere in there. So that's the visualization study. Yeah, that was it.
So as I alluded to in the staff report, it's kind of a difficult decision as how many is too many. One thing also I wanted to, threw me when we were going down 91st Street going east and west, those properties that are across from Merck actually would also fall within the K-10 corridor and could potentially have a pole sign as well. So that's why those, I have a little struggling right there because I know there weren't any signs, but there's tracks out there that could potentially have a sign as well. So really that whole stretch from basically Sunflower Road to Hudabachi could have a fairly extensive area of signs. However, it's, not everybody's gonna need a pole sign, so unlikely, at least in my opinion, that every church is.
How many of a lot? Sorry.
Well, at the top of my head, I don't quite,
No, I don't mean total. I mean where O'Reilly's is going in. How many lots are left there that might have signs?
on the O'Reilly side, because behind the potential O'Reilly's is K10.
Yeah.
And Harps has a sign in O'Reilly's, and there's just one tract, to the east of the O'Reilly's. There is on screen where that would be one additional, right?
This tract here has potential. This is the apartment, so they haven't asked for any. Jake's Fireworks is here. There's another vacant lot here. And then these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots here. I'm sorry, Burger King's already there, so another 4.
So 5 more potentials.
5, 6 more potentials. Good.
Hey, if it brings in business.
All right, I think I'm gonna go ahead and finish the, going through some of these items so we can, some initial discussion at chairman's discretion. Economic impact, You know, the sign itself won't have much impact either way, but as I mentioned, having a additional retail customer or a location within city limits for residents of DeSoto will certainly provide value, while the sign itself may have some very limited economic value in DeSoto. As far as extent that it may detrimentally affect nearby properties, we just looked at the visualization study. It's all retail. It's a retail corridor. I don't see how there'd be any detrimental effects. There's already several pole signs in the area, so see any kind of negative effect on nearby properties. Relative gain, public health, safety, and welfare from denying the sign. I don't see that there be anything to gain or to lose by denying the sign. I think, well, we certainly want to have O'Reilly's feel like they're welcome and being a part of the community, but the sign itself is a little different kind of, you can debate the value of having the pole sign as far as economics of the whole situation. And then finally, the consistency within the comprehensive plan certainly meets our requirements there. It's part of the K-10 corridor. Doesn't have any negative impacts on utilities. And it is something that we are encouraging as far as retail use in this area. So overall, staff's recommendation is positive. We do have a couple things I'd like to add as far as the technical review. As I mentioned, the pole sign is in the K-10 overlay district, so it's certainly allowed within this area. Sign should be no more than, actually, the sign itself is only 40 feet high. 60 feet is our actual height that we allow, and then the square footage is less than our maximum allowance as well, which is actually 300 per side. So. And then there'll be only one pole sign, which is allowed. You have to have a principal business on that site, and so there could only be one pole sign on this location. Sign meets the 10-foot minimum setback requirement. Actually shows 11 feet on the site plan, and then the colors are typical O'Reilly auto parts that you see all over the place. The sign's not used for any kind of lighting. It's just there for illumination interior to the site. There won't be any kind of issues as far as the illumination or photometric type problems. So upon review of all the criteria that we have, staff generally finds that this is a positive thing for DeSoto. However, we just make recommendations to the planning commission, ultimately makes a recommendation to the city council. Past what we've done with some of these is a term of 20 years, 1 year annual renewals, so it would be in place. And we always have the ability, if for some reason it falls out of compliance, we can permit them, make them come back and comply and go through a process again. But this gives them a 20-year window of just being able to not have to deal with it. And then even after that, the council just has a 1 year annual option to say they need to reapply. So with that, I'll turn it over any questions that the planning commission may have.
Brad, what I'd like to do is open the public hearing on this right now, and then come back to you to ask commission asking questions.
Okay, and there is a representative from O'Reilly Auto Parts here tonight. If I'd like to ask some questions, directly, can certainly do that.
So at this time, we will open a special use permit for the O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Do we have anybody that might be online or?
No, Mr. Chair, I don't see anybody except planning commissioners on the video conference.
All right, then we will close the public hearing on the special use permit, and the planning commissioners have any questions they would like to ask Brad or the representative from O'Reilly's.
Hey, Bob, this is Roger. Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So this is the same question we had with Burger King. As you look at the technical review and the substantive bill, we've got our regulation talks about special use permits only approved to determine the benefit of the city and will outweigh the negative appearance to the community at large from a proliferation of such signs. And the question, I think this is for council, I mean, they're elected, is, you know, are we okay with every lot out there having a pole sign? If that's what they want, then I think that's fine, but I do think it's a question the council needs to have some discussion about. And I don't know that we as a planning commission are really getting all the guidance on that. At this point, you showed us a rendering which essentially would have a pin cushion exit, and if that's what the council wants, then I guess that's fine. But that should be made, some determination ought to be made, otherwise, I don't see how you ever turn down anybody for having a pole sign.
Well, I think, Roger, when we, had the Burger King discussion with the council, that's what sort of initiated the visualization study. And so, you're right, this is a ultimate decision for the city council, and we'll present, you know, the same information we obviously present to the planning commission with that visualization study as well, then we review and ultimately make a decision.
And there was no direction given back to us from that discussion, so I'm assuming they're okay with the proliferation of pole signs.
Yeah, well, yeah, Roger, I mean, as you know, when we amended the text, to allow the pole signs, that dominated the discussion, like when is enough and how many is too many. And I think there's a general agreement that there might come a time when there's too many. There's also a general agreement that we can't really decide what that number is right now. So that's why, like Brad said, that's why the visualization study was done. You know, you know, if you polled the council right now, if we had 13 applications right now for pin cushions, you know, there would be decisions to be made, but I don't know that we're at the point now where we could say we should deny this one. Now, when that comes, I think we're going to have to face that decision, like you mentioned. You know, when's the last one, and it's going to be difficult to determine when that last one is. And maybe as we get more of these down the road, that number may become more clear. But I don't know how we get there yet. And that's been the problem.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they appreciate that. And my concern is not that it'll be a difficult decision, but it'll be a decision that you cannot make because you don't have a guideline. You don't have a criteria. And if it's just, well, this was too many, then I think the guy that gets denied is going to say, on what basis did you make that determination? And unless you have some sort of rule, I think you run the risk of having an arbitrary decision.
Yeah.
So I hope they do take it up. I hope they do talk about it because under this guidance, I don't think we have any way to value.
That's understood. I understand that.
Didn't we have a discussion at one time that, what if a company comes in and wants a pole sign, we tell them no, and they decide to walk? You remember that discussion?
Well, I think you walk that line a little bit with every applicant that comes in the door, you know, at some point, with a regulation or a requirement or a building code or the price of land or whatever. Every step of the way, there's those decisions. But I don't know, from a planning commission standpoint, certainly it's very difficult to boil those sorts of decisions down into something like an application like this. That's very tough to do, unless you have specific guidelines like Roger was talking about.
Right. Do we have any other questions for our staff?
I'm not sure if we've ever discussed it or not, but is there any way that we could, I know in some cities where you go, there's signage on the side of the road that says upcoming businesses. Is there any way we could do something like that maybe and not have all of these pole signs?
So KDOT has a program, you know, the blue, I don't know what they exactly call them. I don't know, they're not wayfinding, but yeah, the blue signs where the company logos are on there. those used to be very popular, but then about 15 years ago, maybe it's only 10, they quadrupled the price of having your logo on there. And so a lot of the smaller businesses don't do that anymore. We've also, Linda, discussed an idea with some sort of a community signage idea at the east and west Y, but not in terms of a highway location. And the community signage was more for the nonprofits, the churches, VFW, the Boy Scouts, things like that, civic organizations. But beyond that, well, there's not really been a discussion about, beyond those two things, really.
Okay, I just think, I agree with everybody else. When is the point that we say, no, that's not enough, but at the same time, I also realize there's a need for them to have signs so that people can see them at their location. So it's kind of a catch-22, but thank you for answering that, Mark. That's all I have.
Do we have any other discussion on this or questions from Brad? This time I'd like to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the, special use permit for the O'Reilly sign on, West 91st Terrace.
We have a motion.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
No, that was, Johnny, that was your second, wasn't it, Johnny?
Yeah, that was me.
If they would identify themselves.
Yeah, if you're on the video conference, just for the minutes, if you could just tell us who you are. Some of your voices sound similar.
Okay.
Roll call.
Manson,
Manson, yes.
Templin,
Yes.
Lane,
Lane, yes?
Fisher,
Fisher, yes.
Schultz,
Schultz, yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Garrett.
Garrett, yes.
Motion carried, commissioners, thank you.
Okay, item B, rezoning at 8145 Cedar Creek Road. Brad?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Hey, Bob, I'm sorry, before we get into this, is there any way we get Brad a microphone?
Oh, I've got,
Yes,
no,
right
I'm leaning
in.
a little bit, okay?
Is that better?
I
Brett,
appreciate
you can
that.
just speak right into
I'm
that.
not hearing.
Make sure you're speaking very clearly. It is hard to hear with the mask and you're across the room. And remember, it's this thing taking out.
Okay. Anyway, on the rezoning at 8145 Cedar Creek Road, we had an application. It's actually the tract there's a house on this area here where Mike's got the cursor. And the applicant wants to split that piece out and then build a second residence on the remaining agricultural tract. However, the agricultural tract that you can see is not 20 acres, and we have a 10-acre minimum for split tracts. So they had to request a rezoning to R1. And in the process, we're trying to identify exactly where the lateral fields were for the existing residents, and the legal description that they turned in, upon review of aerial photos and talking to the owner, found out that the lateral fields were not on the Exhibit A, the legal description that's in your packet. And so we asked the owner to revise that tract and make it larger to include the lateral fields. They were not able to submit that and get that completed by Planning Commission tonight. So we're asking that the Planning Commission table this item until the next meeting in January, which would be the 26th of 2021. So I can go into the staff report further if you like, but we would certainly have to cover all those items on the 26th. But that's kind of what's going on right now, so that's why it's being asked to be tabled at this time.
Does anybody have any problems with tabling this till January 26th?
Schultz is good with it.
We would need some sort of motion saying the table, to the January 26th meeting, so we won't have to re-advertise the public hearing. So anybody who's here tonight or is online would then know that, it's been continued to the 26th.
Okay. You get a motion?
I make a motion to table this item from the 26th of January.
We have a motion. Need a second?
Second.
Sure.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Manson,
Manson, yes.
Templin,
Yes.
Lane,
Lane, yes?
McPherson,
Yes.
Schultz,
Schultz, yes.
Fisher,
Fisher, yes.
Garrett.
Garrett, yes.
Thank you, commissioners, the motion carried.
Okay, we have no old business, new business. The final pledge for the carriage house number 9, Fred?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. This, as you know, is a process we've been going through for many years now. The final plat is now ready for completion. Actually, we did plat this area earlier, but as they get the building frame and the walls up, they have to do a building survey that actually confirms the exact square footages for each tract within the development itself. And so that's why you've got final plat with all the building walls and square footages and dimensions. So it's actually a replat, but it will be become ultimately the final plat for building 9 out at the carriage houses. There are 10 buildings in their original development plan, so there'll be one more before we're finally completed with this project. And then at some point, since they did purchase the property to the east, I'm sure they'll have another development plan. They'll have to come before the planning commission. But this is once again a step in the process. The walls are up, roofs on, and they are ready to start selling individual units, and we have to approve the final plat with all the exact square footages before they can take this to the county and register and then begin selling the property. Anyway, as far as our staff report, we've gone through this, had a few minor corrections with the surveyor, but feel like this is ready to go to the planning commission and ultimately city council for approval. I'll stand for any questions that you all may have.
We have any questions for Brad? Hearing none, entertain a motion.
Schultz makes a motion to okay the final plat for carriage house number 9.
We have a motion, need a second?
Lane, second?
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Manson,
Manson, yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Templin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Fisher, yes.
Lane,
Lane, yes?
Schultz,
Schultz, yes.
Chairman.
Garrett, yes.
Thank you, commissioners, the motion carried.
Okay, our calendar for the next meeting will be January the 26th, 2021. Anybody have any questions for Mike or Brad? Or any concerns?
Yeah, I got a question. Is the carriage houses bought that lot to use their place?
Yes, they did.
Okay, all right. I thought that's what I heard. I just wanted to, yeah, good.
Yeah, thankfully, one of the first things they did was demo that old building out there that, has been a thorn in my side for a long time, so. They're finally taking that down. Actually, they're starting to do some fill work and grade out in preparation for additional structures.
Would entertain a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
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 We are adjourned. Thank you.
Everybody have a good holidays.
Yes.
Be done with 2020.
Any questions? This will go to the city council
Oh,
on,
21,
actually on the 7th.
This conference is no longer being recorded.
Same concerns will come up, so, but.
Planning Commission approves the final plat. It does go forward to the city council for an acceptance of easements and rights.
Okay, Ben, we're looking forward to it too.
We're slated, spring house is weird, because this one, there's no easements or rights to it, but we've done the long time.
Oh, I know, I had to drive to O'Reilly's today. Up in Bonner Springs, some stuff, so like, one of these days, I'm gonna be on.
Yeah.
Road easement here, but
That's one of our
it's just the one hour.
reasons we're so adamant on it. Maybe technically we don't have to go to the council. Locally, even though we're destination point, but from that guy down in his state, that tax dollar is gonna be in the Lawrence or back in Bonner.
Tree looks good out there, Mike.
Doesn't that thing look awesome? That lights up the world out there.
And then as you get going,
Airplanes so.
I look up on the lens, I'm gonna fight it.
Guys, actually, on commercials on TV, those guys doing your company.
Yeah, yeah. They can see it from space. It's a great
Hey, have you,
Couple of our lots, you
take
did
a
find
drive
hard,
and watch the,
as they develop,
space
and you just get
pitch
these
the
up.
flyover?
Yeah, we did.
We appreciate it.
No.
All right,
Thank y'all, have a good one. Thank y'all.
All right, take care.
Can you see it? Like
Oh, yeah.
Well, you could, I got a pretty good pair of binoculars and it was just cloudy enough that you could see a white shaped object with like an arm coming off of it. And that was about it.
Cool.
Now, if you had a telescope or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously a bit better, but,
Jill was all charged up about seeing a aurora borealis. They were predicting that last week.
Have you ever seen one?
I'm not.
It is fabulous.
yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a bucket list, that's one of the things that would be on it. You'll see that.
Yeah. No, haven't seen Space
Can
Station.
I light up your world enough?
Yeah, the flashing lights are starting to mess with my mind.
Hypnotized.
See, is it Monday night, the, two planets come together?
Yeah, the
21st?
21st.
or so, yeah.
Yeah.
Not all the way together. They just sort of line up. Oh, gotta stop on.
Did you see how I did this? I just YouTube live streamed the screen there.
All right.
That's a heck of an idea is what that is.
You're the man. I'm telling you.